So, abolitionist rising. First of all, as we know, you're going to run into two types of abortion abolitionists. You're going to run into the Phil bros, and you're going to run into the policy bros. Phil bros are intellectually daft and think they're super smart and are just looking to win the debate. They don't actually care about the issues. Policy bros like this are anti-woman, and you can kind of figure that out by listening to the way they speak about these topics. But let's see. Maybe they make some good arguments for abortion or against abortion. Maybe they'll change my mind with this video, Feminist Rage Quits Debate with Abolitionist. Maybe they'll change my mind.
It looks like
it's not
a clump of cells.
In 9 weeks, sis?
Shoving it down my throat. Just like how you want nobody to shove it down your throat.
The body is not a body. It's just a bundle of cells.
Okay, I don't.
Okay. Guys, hear me. Every abortion debater, stop using that argument. I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Because I'm going to think like 3 steps in. Abolitionists are just going to use it against you. Sure, it's a body. 100% it's a body. Sure, it's a living thing. Sure, absolutely. Absolutely, it's a living thing. Absolutely, it's a body. Relevance?
That's probably right. See, the reason the arguments are so weak is that people are guilty of having done it. So it's like you're trying to justify something that you've done, so you're grasping at arguments after the fact, and that's where that. But I literally.
He thought he ate with that. He thought he ate with that one so hard.
Have been doing something like this for like 15 years, and I'm not lying. I have never heard anyone lay out a bona fide, this counts as an argument for abortion that's valid and sound. Like these premises get to this conclusion, and it's, convincing. Never heard it.
But there we go. See, this is how they do it. This is how they escape. Did you hear that last? Let's listen back to that last phrase he uses.
Get to this conclusion, and it's, convincing. Never heard.
He's making it so that it's like, well, I've never heard an argument that convinces me. That doesn't mean that they're not sound arguments. It just means you were not convinced. Which, again, you could be coming at it from a bias where you don't care about the arguments. My base level argument, P1, P2 conclusion. P1, nobody has the right to use the resources of my body without my say-so. P2, abortion would be another person using your bodily resources without your say-so. Conclusion, you can remove them from your body to maintain your bodily resources. There you go. There you go. Look how easy that was. Look how simple that was. Like Christ.
Heard anything approaching that. It's kind of sad. But everyone on that side thinks that they've got it.
Okay, get to the actual arguments,
Unless you're ready to give me one. You got one?
I could probably think of a lot. I mean,
think of a lot? I don't need a lot. I just need one. I've been searching for 15 years.
What if the woman's raped and she has to carry that baby to term?
Yeah.
She doesn't.
So before I answer that, so when I say argument, and then you say I can give you a lot, and then you ask a what if question, I can tell you, I believe that people who rape people are wrong.
Yes, they are wrong.
Because they're what? They are using their bodies to aggress violently someone else's body, right?
Yes.
So if someone rapes someone, why is it wrong? Because it's a violent act of aggression against someone else's body.
Yeah, and there's also the point of this woman has to carry this.
Do you notice what he did? Do you notice what he did? The question was very obviously, what is the stance of abortion in the case of rape? And instead he deflected and he said, yeah, but rape is wrong because they're wrong. Okay, but answer the question.
This child to term.
So she's allowed to violently aggress someone's body?
I'm not done talking.
Okay, so this is what you need to do.
This woman could have multiple medical problems.
This is what you need to do now. So here he's laid out, he has very clearly laid out that in the case of abortion, in a case of rape, abortion is wrong. So now what you have to do is you now have to find out if if he holds to some causal obligation, right? Because if he holds to some level of causal obligation, he has no legs to stand on in this point of the debate. So if we got to here, my next question for him would be, why is somebody who is pregnant obligated to care for that fetus? Now, he'll have probably one of two responses. Response number one, well, it's a human life, in which case you're obligated. So my question would be, okay, what's the delineation? Why is the pregnant person obligated and why not somebody else? Right? Because it's always going to come down to the pregnant person. 9 times out of 10, in every abortion argument I've had, it boils down to, will the pregnant person, quote unquote, open their legs? And in which case, you now have him locked in saying that you were obligated because you had sex. Now it becomes the question back to, if you're raped, where's that obligation now come from? So that's where I would go in this line of argument. I don't know if that's where I don't think that's where they're going to go. But
That this baby could kill her if she carried it to term, but you're saying abortion is murder.
Also, that little body is not a body. It's just a bundle of cells.
Sure.
It has no brain. It has no
fetus-
will.
Human beings are definitely made of cells.
Parasite.
Yeah.
No, fetus doesn't mean
Yes, it
parasite.
does.
No, it means little child. It's Latin. You can look it up. Go check it out on Google. Don't listen to me.
It doesn't mean little child, you idiots. The Latin term fetus would mean offspring. This is how I know you're an idiot, because everyone who uses that little child argument has never looked up the etymology of the word fetus, ever. Because you wouldn't use the little baby argument. So let's just go into the etymology of the term fetus so that we can all see. In Latin, fetus sometimes was transferred figuratively to the newborn creature itself, or used in a sense of offspring, brood, as in horse, Gemini, core, horrida, portrait, fetus. But this was not the usual meaning. It also was used of plants in the sense of fruit, produce, shoot, figurative growth. And then when you look up here, sorry, I said offspring. I should have said, no, I was right. Fetus, the young while in the womb or egg, tending to mean vaguely the embryo in the later stage of development. From Latin fetus, often incorrectly fetus, the bearing or hatching of young, a bringing forth, pregnancy, childbearing, offspring. At no point did it mean little baby. It meant these things: the bearing or hatching of young, a bringing forth, pregnancy, childbearing, offspring. So when they say, in Latin, fetus meant little baby, no, it didn't.
So humans do go through a fatal stage of development.
But also, I want to address the parasite thing. Stop saying it's a parasite. You could say the relationship is parasitic, meaning the fetus takes much more than it gives in almost a parasitic relationship. I think that's an okay way to phrase it. When you say the fetus is a parasite, you kind of lose out on that, because they're just going to say, well, parasite means it's of a different species, and the fetus is not a different species. I would just say the relationship is parasitic.
After our embryological stage of development. So you were once a human embryo, and then at a certain point in time, you would be considered a human fetus. It's just naming, right? Fetus, Latin, little child, offspring, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between
offspring doesn't mean human. Fetus isn't just used for human. That's what's so weird. They keep referring to fetus as if it only means human
fetus and a cow fetus?
Hey, I have a question for you.
Not much.
Because they're both made of cells, but one's a human. And for those of us who believe in human rights, human value, and that they shouldn't have murder of humans.
Oh,
he
walked himself into some real problem phrases here. He goes, for those of us that believe in human life. Now, again, this is just what I would do, is I would hit him with, well, where do human rights come from? What are human rights? So secondly, I would ask, what are rights? Where do rights come from? And you're claiming that there's a right to life. Is that right positive or negative? Because they're almost always going to walk themselves into a contradiction. Is it a negative right, meaning it entails no obligation, or is it a positive right, meaning it entails an obligation? Most anti-abortionists are going to have to claim it's a positive right because they believe in a causal obligation.
Humans equally But we live in a world where people do not show equal rights or equal love or equal justice to all humans.
Has nothing to do with the
They want to
argument.
choose which humans they are going to be loved and protected and which humans are going to be.
Wait, we do this already. Humans already don't have equal rights, and you wouldn't prescribe to humans having equal rights, right? Like if I were to point you to a dead body, you're going to say that dead body has different rights than a living body, but they're both human. Now then you're gonna have to move the goalpost and make a qualifier, which is like, well, living humans all are supposed to have the same rights. And then we're gonna run into some other qualifiers, because I guarantee you, you are not gonna give an embryo the same rights you give a 4-year-old baby. Right? So no, we're right. We're gonna walk ourselves right back into it. I don't know if he would be against IVF, but if he's not against IVF, then clearly he doesn't think embryos have the same rights as 4-year-old babies. Come on, bro. Madison, what town are you in? I will fly there and find this guy. This is my problem. It's they use these dunks, but their dunks are terrible.
Disregarded. So I think we should not disregard any humans.
Hey, if I was killed as a kid and I didn't remember anything, would I give a shit that I was killed? No. I can't think.
Yeah,
I don't remember anything.
But is that
have a
Okay, it's not a great
reason to care? If I die at 2 years old.
It's 30 minutes. Let's speed this shit up. I can't do 30 minutes of this at the speed that it's at now. Let's speed this bad boy up. 1.5.
Ask you an honest question. Do you remember whenever you were 1 week old?
Do you remember when you were 1 week?
Listen, if you were killed when you were 1 week old and you wouldn't remember, et cetera, all the stuff you said with all the colorful language, and would you care? No, you wouldn't.
Wait, that's so stupid. Holy shit. I didn't like the question, but that is the dumbest way to respond to that question. Whoa! There is a difference between, am I able to form core memories, or do I have the ability of memory at all? Total difference. Stupid response to that question.
If I was a fetus, I definitely would.
I'm just saying, you don't remember things from when you were a fetus. You don't remember things whenever you were 2, right? Being able to remember something is not what makes us valuable.
But that's not
our humanity.
Anybody with half a brain understands that's not what the question is saying. The question is referring more to some level of experience. Bad faith. Bad faith. Ooh, boo. Boo. Let's go back to the question, right?
So I think we should not disregard any humans.
Hey, if I was killed as a kid and I didn't remember anything, would I give a shit that I was killed?
The answer would be no. The answer would be no. You wouldn't care because you don't remember. So he goes, well, just because I don't remember. Well, no, I mean, the answer is no, you wouldn't.
Right? Being able to remember something is not what makes us valuable. That's not our humanity. Human beings develop.
That wasn't the premise. That wasn't the premise of the question. The question wasn't prescribed with the premise of we're valuable because we remember. That's not what the premise of the question was.
And their organs and so on. So whenever you're a human fetus and you're born, you know what you do remember? Whenever you come out of your womb, if they place you on the chest of somebody else, you freak out because you're smelling someone different. It's a different heartbeat. It's a different rhythm. It's a different voice. And you're looking for your mom because you just spent the last few months of your life learning the sounds of your mom, the sounds and the rhythms of your mom. So we do know undeniably that human beings develop our abilities to think and so on and so forth function in the womb.
Yeah, but again, I asked you a question.
Oh, that's not true. That's not thinking. That's a reaction. Yikes. Big yikes.
But that's not why.
Am I going to care? Am I going to care?
Yeah, if you were 2 years old and someone killed you and you were later dead, you would not care. Yes, no.
Problem solved.
Doesn't make it okay. Is it okay to rape a 1 week old?
Problem solved is crazy.
No. But what if the 1 week old person doesn't know, doesn't care? See what I'm saying? Your ethics. Yeah.
Okay to rape a woman and allow her to have the child if she doesn't want it?
It's not okay to rape a woman. It's not okay to rape a woman. Why is rape wrong? I'm asking you a question. I'm not saying
It's
it's
not
wrong.
consensual. Two parties have to consent.
So you have two people.
Absolutely.
This person does something to this person that this person doesn't consent about.
Right.
So if you have 2 humans and 1 human attacks another human, it's wrong?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't believe you.
Why?
Because you're advocating for abortion, which is 1
Yes, I
human.
am.
I understand, and their arguments are decent, but you have to run at the premise. It's not about 2 humans attacking each other. It's about 2 persons. This is why I think personhood is so important in the abortion debate, Because rights are there to dictate how two sentient beings interact. And a being that is not sentient, quite literally, doesn't have the capacity to consent. Consent is not a thing. We also don't hold this in any other stance, right? Right? If my grandfather dies and he didn't leave a will, right? I can dispose of his body however way I want. That body's still human, but it doesn't matter about the consent. And sometimes you can even bypass what is said in a will, right? If somebody leaves it in their will, hey, I want a burial with a big party, and you don't have money, you can cremate them. There's nothing saying you can't, because they're creatures that can't consent. Oh, fuck.
Attacking another human.
No, because a human.
No, she undermined herself.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're asserting that a fetus is equivalent to a human being, or
No, a human fetus is a human
They
being.
can't breathe without the umbilical. Like when they cut the umbilical cord and the baby cries, that's the first time that baby
Yeah.
used their lungs.
Yeah. So
So it is.
a human being can't breathe in the
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I just wish the arguments were better.
bottom of the ocean, but that doesn't mean you can put them there and kill them.
We're a host. A woman is a host when you have a baby. Yes,
Do you think all women are hosts?
If they're pregnant, absolutely.
Can I, just for the sake of
For sure.
being kind, can you not objectify women?
I mean, that's exactly what you're doing.
No, I'm not calling women hosts. I'm not treating women as hosts.
Am I?
You just said you said a woman who is pregnant
Yes,
is a host.
It's a host to the person that's in.
True or false? Everyone out here has at one point in time been in the womb of a woman.
Dude, that's true.
Right. So we all share this, right?
Correct.
Right. Okay. So what does that do to your argument? Anything?
My argument is.
What does the counter do? What did the counter just do? The counter did nothing. Huh? What?
It's not your choice. It's not your right to choose what I do
Well,
with my body.
no, I'm not.
That's
I'm
such
not
a
doing anything
dumb
to your
counter
body.
argument.
No, I'm not advocating to do anything to your body.
Oh, I don't
If
know.
there's a body,
You're
listen.
advocating for me not to be able to.
If there's a body inside of your body, I see that as a fellow human being and my neighbor, and I want to protect them.
Good for you.
I want to do the golden rule for them because
Good for you.
I believe in loving your neighbor.
Care about it.
I believe in justice, and I believe
Oh
that
my God, it's just fucking virtue signaling. Holy shit. It's one massive virtue signal, bro. I believe in justice. I believe in loving thy neighbor. You're just virtue signaling, dog.
inequality. No, you're
Yes, I do.
Okay, if there's
You're taking away my equality by allowing.
if there's a body inside of your body, another human being,
Absolutely.
I'm saying I love that human being
Okay.
and want them to be protected
Okay, so I
the
have
same
another
way.
question for you.
So
In second
why do you
case-
want them not to be protected?
They are protected. It's my choice. It's my choice.
So-
it is my decision.
Why?
To do what
Just
I
why?
do.
Thanks. Why?
Do you
Just
lose
I want to
sleep
know why.
over it?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yes.
That's tough.
I'm trying to love my neighbors as myself.
I lose sleep over it, homie. That's fucking pathetic. Sorry, not to clown on Big Dog over here. I lose sleep over the thousands of aborted fetuses. Okay, shut the fuck up.
I'm
Then
not
do
sure
it.
if this will change much, but can I give you a hypothetical?
These are all hypotheticals. But if the hypothetical is designed to justify one human killing another human, then
So if you're
yeah.
burning building and
Ooh, he trapped himself there. See, this is why I would have caught on that immediately. I'm like, okay, so you think it's never justifiable to kill another human? And then he would have had to walk back his claim. Because we know it is. That's why unjustifiable killing is called murder. It is absolutely justifiable to kill another human in some instances. Right? Somebody's threatening my life. It is justifiable for me to kill them. Hell, if someone's threatening my livelihood, sometimes it's justifiable for me to kill them. So he walked himself, and I wish somebody there caught it, man. I need to be in the ear of you people.
there's this case of like,
Yeah, the case of embryos, that's what I say.
familiar with it?
Yeah, I've been on Reddit. So what it is like people want to justify evil, so they try to come up with various things. So say that, let me make it more realistic, less hypothetical. That building's on fire. I see it's on fire.
He basically said the trolley problem, because that's what it is. It's the trolley problem. One of the most well-known philosophical questions to test like justification for things is just there so people can justify evil. And it's there so he doesn't have to answer the question.
Fire. My wife and kids are in the building, and your mom and dad are in the building. Who do you think I'm going to run in and save? Right. Does that mean that at the same time I think that your parents are not valuable and not worthy of protection? See, if you think about that, that means that whole thought experiment, which is like zing good when you're just hanging out with all your friends that agree with you in an echo chamber, it's a good argument, but it's not.
I mean, this is a
No, it is actually. It's actually a very good argument because your claim is that all human life has value. So we're not looking at the subjective value that you place on something, because that's just it. We're talking about two things. His issue is he's twisting these arguments to make it look good. So when you say, well, if my mom is in there and your mom is in there, obviously I'm going to save my mom. Sure. But now let's take relationships out of it. It's one fertilized egg and it's one 2-year-old. You do not know either of these creatures. So now where are you placing the value? What he did is he decided, well, I'm going to change the hypothetical to make me look good. Oh man, this dude's disingenuous.
You don't know, this is hundreds, if not thousands, of potential children. Would you say?
Well, human embryos.
Yes, human embryos.
They are technically.
Here we go, which you don't know. She's doing it. She's doing it.
They're human embryos.
So assuming you have no connection to this other, like, 5-year-old kid or something.
Science
There
can
she
tell what is a
goes.
human embryo and what's not.
Yes, but
Yeah, science can
Changing,
look at a human embryo and a fake embryo.
he's changing the topic so hard because she caught him. Ooh, I like her. She caught him and he's changing. She said, it's 1,000 embryos you don't know and like a 2-year-old you don't know. And so now he's switching to, well, science says it is life. Let's talk about this now because I got caught in a contradiction and need to get the fuck out of it.
Yeah, it says that human beings are made in the image of God, right?
There it is.
Let me stop.
There it is. There it is. I don't need to watch anymore. You're arguing from a religious stance. Everything is going to boil back to because God says so. There it is. There it is. Wow.
Well, I'll get to it. It repeats it over and over again.
actually does.
Child sacrifice.
I've actually read the entire Bible.
Okay. Okay. Since you've read the entire Bible, go.
It starts at birth.
Okay. So listen.
It starts at birth.
Okay. Hold on a
Not
second.
at conception.
Do you want me to answer the question, or do you want to just ask it? I'm just honest.
Because you don't have an answer.
No, I do.
You've been talking in logical circles.
All right. So let's start with it. Okay.
Okay.
What does the Word of God say about murder? Is it right or is it wrong?
Condemns it.
Okay. Why is murder wrong?
This is
What does the Bible say?
unjustified.
You've read the whole Bible.
It's unjustified. Like, that's why. He has like some big
Why does the
to-do.
Bible say murder is wrong and it
There's a
shall?
lot of different reasons.
It gives the main reason, Genesis 9:6. When you were reading it, this is the 9th chapter of the book that you've read front to back. Genesis 9:6. I'll give you the context. Noah has just come out of the ark and he's talking with God, and God says, "Here's the deal. I flooded the world because it's filled with violence. The one thing I don't want you to do is shed the blood of other human beings because they are made in the image of God." So so the Bible just says.
Also, remember, even after Noah, God orders people to shed the blood of other human beings all of the time. So it's not about shedding the blood of other human beings at all.
If you don't believe it,
Because again, this is why some killing is okay and some is not. If we're saying you can never kill because God says it's wrong to shed the blood of other human beings, I guarantee you he's not going to argue. I guarantee you he's a 2-ayer because of self-defense. How much you want to bet?
Shed when an abortion happens.
right. Well, okay, I'm saying it's poetic language. Listen, you can kill people without shedding their blood.
All of the death and murder.
I could kill you without shedding your blood, but it would still be murder, right?
Condemned within the Bible talks about outward acts of violence. What is a violent act about something that is happening?
So the Bible says in the minor prophets and in the major prophets, it discusses ripping open wombs to dash the children upon the rocks.
You know-
It also talks about the practice of murdering children in the womb. Pharaoh wanted the Hebrew midwives to murder the children in their wombs. It's in Exodus chapter 1.
Question.
I'm saying you're asking me and I'm giving you this.
Bloodshed being like a sin and stuff like that. What about the women who are bleeding out because they can't access an abortion? What about
They're
that
bleeding out because they can't access the abortion?
Yes, they're
No.
who medically
I understand. I'm not doubting that. So what?
He's about to pivot. He's
So,
about to
yes,
pivot so hard.
If a human embryo, which we're not talking to embryo right here, if we're further along, right? We're talking about a human that we say is a human fetus. To cause bleeding out, you have to be a certain size. I know you said you've read the Bible a lot. I've read the Bible. I've read science as well. A human fetus can implant in a certain
science.
place where if they
Hilarious.
continue to grow and put on weight, after about 9-10 weeks, in 9 weeks you're there, and from 9 weeks until birth, you just essentially are growing, right? Putting on mass, your organs are growing, and all that kind of stuff.
Let's make
if
this
you grow to the point
faster.
where you are going to die because of where you're implanted, and you
He's
cause
saying a bunch of
rupture
nonsense.
of the tube, yes, your body needs to be removed. What's this? This is the body of the baby needs to be removed, so it doesn't cause death, right? That's what we're talking about. The mother, right? So right? So it's the removal of a baby that has perished in her womb. Is that to your? Do you think?
Still be a viable child?
Sure.
Is it worth letting the mother die?
I think I think you perform an emergency. No, they exist. If they didn't exist, how are they causing a tubal rupture? I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? You gotta exist to actually be hurting someone.
Created by the woman's
Right.
body.
It's a human being.
It's separate from her.
Yeah. So this is a mother who is losing a child.
He's
probably
getting
heartbroken
caught right now.
that her baby
Actually,
is
let's-
perishing because of where they
let's-
implanted,
it's
right?
too fast now.
She is
Let's go to
heartbroken.
this.
She doesn't like the fact that there will be college students who will appropriate her story and use it to justify abortion in general.
How does she feel about you doing
Boom! Instead of engaging with the hypothetical, he immediately pivots to virtue signaling. Unbelievable. Actually, very believable because it's what he's been doing the whole time. Instead of engaging with the hypothetical that's being laid out in front of him, he moves to, well, how dare you co-opt this story and use it for your own political gain, instead of engaging with the actual
I lost
argument.
children for exactly this reason.
That's not argument.
I don't think there's anything.
If she agreed with what we were saying and witnessed you.
Listen, I don't know what this hypothetical woman agrees or disagrees. What I'm saying is,
So you used it against them, then they put it back on you, and you go, well, I don't know what she's saying. What? Bro, this dude is bad. This is just bad. This is virtue signaling, pivoting, gish galloping, everything you want to call it has been happening in this fucking first 13 minutes of the video.
the mother who is losing a child because of where they're implanted and they're dying, right? Is that the same thing as the mother who did the thing that makes babies, right? And then a couple weeks later,
No, she's making a choice to protect her
Right.
well-being.
No,
That doesn't necessarily mean she's down
listen.
for her well-being. She doesn't have the
They
financial
would both be
ability to do
abortions.
anything
This is all I would say to him is they're both abortions. So you can claim whatever moral high ground you want. They're both abortions. Your sign is abortion is murder. They are both abortions.
That's more than 75% of abortions.
what? Because of
If
financial?
they don't feel like they have the
Sure.
support that they
Yeah,
need.
they should. Maybe they should. Yeah.
Well, it's just forcing-
I don't think that it's okay to kill people because you're poor.
So you think it's okay to
Yeah,
have
no.
children who are not even able to access, like right now they're cutting off federal
I think it's a bad, I
Like,
think
I'm
it's a
starting to
bad
disagree with your
argument.
argument.
Here's the thing. Well, actually, wait, I want to hear his response.
They come into life to starve.
Listen, say I have 3 kids, my wife's pregnant with a fourth, and we're really, really poor. And I say, honey, we can't afford this. And she's like, we can't afford this. What if I proposed, you know what, actually, I'm looking at it, the most expensive one is the 13-year-old. Because,
No, that's a stupid response. What I wish they would do, this is how you, if you want to do this, because you can absolutely utilize this against pro-lifers, this idea that they only care about children in the womb. But I think the way you do this is you hit them with the positive and negative rights argument, okay? If it is the case that the right to life is a positive right and entails some sort of duty or obligation of another person, then I would say, well, why does that stop after birth? Right? Why does the right to life become negative after birth? Because if it is the case that in order for you to respect my right to life, I must be given all of the necessities necessary to maintain that life, why do you not hold this stance after birth? Why after birth am I not obligated to these things? They're not going to have an answer. They never do. So that's where I wish they would take that one.
we think it's okay to terminate a human being's life because we can't care for them financially. Why not kill the 13-year-old? Because the preborn, the prenatal child, super cheap. They just eat whatever with him.
It's almost $6,000 to have a child.
Right, but that's cheaper than a 13-year-old. Do you have a 13-year-old?
See, but again, this is where I wish we would get into. This is where I would get into like sentience, right? I would say, well, what harm is being done by killing a 13-year-old versus what harm is being done by killing a 12-week-old fetus, right? One of them is going to have like a measurable harm because they're sentient and they can experience that harm. The other is not experiencing harm. So if killing something does not harm it, what's the problem, right? Like if I split a rock in half, I didn't harm the rock. The rock's fine.
I know you don't because, yeah.
No, I'd like to have access to abortion if something happens.
If something happens,
I have medical issues. If I had a child, that would literally be a child with lifelong medical issues. I would not.
Okay, so you have never, with malice aforethought, terminated a child.
No, but if I had it happen, I would. It's not malice. It's self-preservation.
I just use it in the legal sense. You see that you're with child. You see that you're with child, and you're like, I don't want to be with child. I'm going to terminate him. You're saying right now that if that ever happens, you plan to terminate them. Yeah. So what I'm saying is,
that's not what malice means in a legal sense. You fucking hack. Malice in a legal sense. Okay. Malice is an intentional act of causing harm to another person without justification or excuse. I would argue the abortion is the justification for the harm. If we're arguing that it can be harmed, the abortion is the justification. This is, oh my God. Who's this guy? What is his fucking name? Somebody put me in contact with this dude because it's embarrassing. These are embarrassing arguments. These are first year pro-life arguments. Jesus. There's a reason why manslaughter is not considered to have been done with malice. Typically. Because it's not intentional. Malice has a very specific legal meaning. So when you go, well, this is the legal sense. No, because murder legally is just an unjustified killing. Murder in the sense of legality. Like, and also, if we're just arguing from a point of legality, you have no leg to stand on, because like, okay, we'll just change the legal law, and then what? No, the argument is a moral argument. You just keep referring back to the legality because these people don't have Google in front of them, so they can't prove you wrong.
Say what is your medical condition? Well, that would be murder. You have murder in your heart, but maybe you haven't murdered anyone yet. But well, maybe you have, in the sense of, anger, hatred, that sort of thing.
So what's the justifies anger and hatred of women right here?
How is this? Forgiveness for murder can be found in Jesus Christ alone. I tell the truth, abortion is murder. And then I say, you know what? Good news, though. You can agree with God that this is murder, and you can lay it at the foot of his cross, and he will.
Never said it was murder. Nowhere.
Yeah,
Nowhere in the Bible,
yeah.
absolutely nowhere in the Bible was abortion stated.
If I thought, if I brought up the Bible a couple of times, and every time I do, you jump somewhere else. If I truly thought that you cared, do you care about what it says in the Bible?
Honestly,
No way Mr. Jumper is fucking mad because other people are jumping around in the conversation. No way, Mr. I'm gonna jump 30 fucking degrees every time you bring something up is gonna come. Oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Anyway, we don't need to watch the rest of this. We watched 15 minutes. I think I relatively proved that this dude is fucking talking out of his ass and doesn't actually have a leg to stand on in arguments. Embarrassing, truly.